The most important thing to know is that just because a regulation sounds good does not mean that it is actually a good idea or helpful for workers. I often teach my students about the Bryan Caplan Protection Act. Say this is a law where it says that anyone who wants to hire me has to pay me at least $1 million an hour. Any dispute about my treatment is adjudicated in a court run by me. I receive unlimited benefits. Everyone has to call me your lordship, or else there's $1 million fine for every failure to call me your lordship. And then the question is this law good for me? And everyone wants to say, yes, of course this law is good for you. I say, well, what if I don't have a job yet and people know who I am? Then is the law good for me? And then everyone says, no, then you'll never get a job. Exactly. And this is the same logic behind every labor regulation that exists, really, is people think of it as just a gift to the worker. And yet when you realize that normally you don't have to actually hire the person in the first place, the question is, do you really want this gift? Another example that I like is I often ask my students, imagine that we had a, say, $20 minimum wage, but only for blacks. Would that be good for blacks? It's like, well, then you might not hire them because of that. And you might just hire someone else. So great if you're black and you have the job, but if you don't get the job because of the law, then it's not so good. So that really is the logic of almost all labor regulation out there. People really do like the idea of just saying, you have to treat workers better, you're mean. And it is not actually the slam dunk that they think it is. And then once you accept this, then you realize that a very popular story about why workers get better treatment now than 100 years ago is just that we have more laws. And you realize, well, gee, what would happen if you imposed a modern minimum wage in a pre-modern era? And the answer is, look, that would mean that you have to pay your workers more than gets produced in a year. So, what would really happen is that cause mass unemployment, or actually more realistically, there'd just be a massive black market because the people have to either break the law or starve. Even in North Korea, they will break the law.